Welcome back, guys. We are in the lobby with both players, so we're ready to go. Just need them ready up.
And a quick update for Remar. I guess what happens is, for the BitBoss stuff, when Zombie Grub streams, it's for some reason pulling a different API than mine, even though it's the same link. So, for example, even though I manually set you to be the BitBoss on my side, and it shows the BitBoss on XSplit U, when she opens it, it resets the BaseTradeTV as the default, as if it started brand new. I'm not sure why that's the case, but that seems to be what's happening. So I've reset it again on my end, but I really don't know if BitBoss is going to be working for this stream, so I'm trying to get you boss power. On my end, it shows you currently being the boss.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't be able to break it anymore.
He says that he is bit boss, but yeah, it won't show up properly. Yeah.
Anyways, what's kind of cool is with Namshar having won his semifinals, we're now guaranteed a ZVT finals. TvT in the bottom half with AqueroN versus HeroMarine. ZVZ in the top half with Namchar versus Nurchio. 2 best of 3s and 1 best of 5 will remain in this Corsair Cup for today, and I'm still waiting for the air conditioning to be able to get here. God damn it.
Yeah, they're not coming.
Anyways, to explain the Bit Boss thing here real quick before we get into the game, we're just waiting on HeroMarine to ready up here, guys. The Bit Boss will not display on stream, but I can see it on my screen no problem, and it is working as long as Zombie Grub doesn't try and load it on her stream. So, currently the Bit Boss is at 2,800 health, and it is Riamar. And hopefully things don't break beyond that. Also, yo, that's my Arcanine resubbing in chat. What's up, Chicken Man? Thank you for the 3-month resub. Yesterday, I know Texas was asking me, like, yo, when am I going to get to refresh my Rifkin sub? And if anyone else is also in that same boat. I know I haven't streamed on my channel in a while. We've been streaming on Base Trade more. But now that we got that Twitch, the PUBG esports partnership, I can go back to streaming on my channel again, which will be awesome.
That is pretty cool. Sort of a beautiful partnership.
Hopefully. Maybe.
Well, it's another best of 3 in the first semifinals for this tournament. In the top left, as the green, that is Green Terran, it's AqueroN.
And it's on the bottom right, who was streaming, not sure if still is streaming. It's going to be HeroMarine. Now, for those unfamiliar with AqueroN's name, we actually got to know this guy a little while back. He's a Spanish Terran player who, if I recall, is very young. Like I remember we were comparing him to Raynor at a point, his levels of young. So he's like 15 or 16 or something, and it's impressive to see a young kid get this far into the bracket, considering there's been some pretty good players in it. I mean, he's defeated both Bly and Mana.
Yeah.
To get here. That alone is impressive enough for me to be like, okay, AqueroN has brought his A game today.
Yeah, he certainly, wasn't a bad Terran player, but it's always missing some of those key elements that really bumps you up to a pro gamer Terran player. Someone that really is contending every tournament, and I don't know, maybe he's reached that point. Bly and Mana, 2 different races, 2 very different play styles, and dealing with them both. I mean, he's going to get the final test here with the TvT against HeroMarine, who did have a fair performance at Home Story Cup. Certainly not as rusty as one might expect. That would be a true testament. And then, I mean, gosh, if he goes up against Nurchio and takes out Nurchio too for the finals, this would just be like a dream run, man. I don't know if I could really expect that far, but maybe.
Hey, so I see via Twitter, Hawk is in Korea. Is he one of your special drunk guests for tonight or tomorrow or whenever it is?
No, good guess, but no.
Okay, better question. Why not?
I don't really know him that well. He also, actually, I think someone asked him if he was gonna hang out, and he said he's very busy. He might be like scouting Overwatch teams. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I also just don't really know him super personally. So anywho, I think it's actually kind of obvious, like, who my special guests are gonna be. I mean, it talked about one person being here, and then the other guy was, on the last drunk cast, so, or drunk stream.
Yo, by the way, they're both using Reaper skins, which is kind of dope.
Yeah.
This Proxy Starport might be a little bit gross. We'll see what it gets away with, but I'm more interested to see what the Reaper fight looks like. Also adding some Hellion custom skins into the mix. AqueroN really just making the Terran race look pretty today.
That he is. Skins aplenty. Well, this proxy starport could do quite a bit of damage. HeroMarine could open up very odd. You know, this is double racks, and certainly he got Reapers from them. That wasn't really a lot. It wasn't proxied, it wasn't a triple racks. It was just like one more Reaper here, which does not outpower 2 Hellions. Barely survives with all of them alive. But it does give him faster marine production, and most likely, I mean, I can't think of when it wouldn't, but like faster stim too. Like one of these will get a tech lab on it, and he'll have that mobility a lot faster, along with eventually having those medevacs. And that, it's not the most basic way to play TvT. The most basic way is to get to a 1-1-1, either on a second base or not, and then use your tech advantages and your positioning knowledge to really get you through any other headaches. To have stim, yeah, it gives you mobility, it gives you that potential to snipe things, but it is missing out on, you know, key big units like tanks, cyclones, etc., etc. So that is going to be enough Marines to barely hold on against AqueroN's push here. Cyclone pops out too, and that's really going to make sure that it deals with basically anything. But it's not about that front push. It's about the growing Banshee counts, which is not going to be scouted by HeroMarine. He sees a barracks and a factory paired up together, and you'd usually expect the starport here, but there's always that chance they try to hide it over here. I don't know. Well, actually, I think he would have scouted that too, but I don't know. I don't know if he was scouting it, thinking about the proxy, but he literally goes and checks, so I guess he was, and he does find it preemptively. AqueroN was really hoping to pair up the Banshees together before it was found out. It's too bad. Well, the Banshee is going to have to deal with the Cyclone. Wanted to take out the starport, force it to lift off. So the Reaper's dealt with as well. But again, unfortunately, the Banshee doesn't get to do very much. It could have been a real big surprise. And HeroMarine would have depended on mostly Marines before that Viking popped out. Like, obviously, he didn't have a Raven, he didn't have a surplus of Vikings to begin with. He's went for the double barracks opener, but now he's getting to 2 and continuing that Marine production. But not stim. Like, I guess, okay, there we go. He is still getting faster stim as expected, just not as fast as I thought it was. And
by the way,
AqueroN 3cc.
The grand arena battle has begun, Zombie Grub. Don't forget to arm yourself.
Oh, I should go into it? Okay.
I feel like I am Sue when it comes to the arenas lately, and it's starting to really break my heart. Because I always get to the finals and then die.
Well, now you know what it feels like.
I did go 500 deep this time, though, so we'll see. We'll see. Now, of course, I'm kind of hoping somebody uses the tech lab at some point in this game. It was just free scouting.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's just going to die.
No.
Womp womp. The starport's going to survive and go back home, so even though it's delayed on production, and starport production is, you know, still pretty important. The game goes on. AqueroN, as I said, was going for a 3cc. HeroMarine not too far behind. Banshee is cleaned up. Combination of units there, and that leaves AqueroN was really, let's see, 1 Banshee, 2 tanks, and a Raven. Okay, and a handful of Marines. Not a bad army at all.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, with the way the game opened, the way the macro's been, unfortunately, with almost no workers killed this game, AqueroN's still almost 10 behind. And not such a big deal in a few moments, funny enough, because they'll both be fully saturated on their natural bases, but that's when HeroMarine makes that decision to, you know, actively get a third, versus just go really dedicated with an attack.
I think
Also, I don't know what's going on. We got a lot of subs coming in today.
Yeah, the reminder. Lycidas 89 for the Twitch Prime sub, or regular sub. He's saying Twitch Prime. We had double medevac drop going out, so this 3rd CC is going to turn into orbitals soon enough. He will have stim with this, but not combat shields, but AqueroN should have units in position. This is the whole, like, positioning over kind of brute force bio power that I was talking about earlier. And a tank in the main while you're playing defensive is certainly the safest way to go. And while it's not a Viking or 2 covering, it is, you know, auto turrets, so they can definitely help. And he kind of just pushes past them. Gets the top of the tank. This actually was going really well. Tank pops out, it's going to be enough.
Combat shields, right?
He doesn't have combat shields.
Oh, shoot, he just started combat shields. Excuse me, I just saw it in the production tab and made me go combat shields. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's just the beauty of medevacs. But that is cleaned up. That unfortunately did more than AqueroN was hoping for, considering that he did have some preparation against at least a single Marine drop, but I guess the double medevac drop was really threw him off here. But he has a defense still at the front against the Cyclones, and the game continues on. Even though AqueroN certainly got the worst end of things for the opener, his proxy didn't do a lot, and he did try and one base it for a lot longer. I mean, he still certainly has a shot. Double upgrades, so he's not too far behind from HeroMarine, and his bio upgrades, stim and combat shield, really didn't play a big a part as I thought it was going to, with HeroMarine's second barracks being so fast. Seems like it'll be pretty even, really, with the combat shields. Can't believe these Reapers are still alive. It's because they've got big guns, maybe.
They really... It's, you know, the guns, it's not even... It's like the jetpack got bigger, too.
The guns are comically large. Like, it looks like he doesn't have a gun. He has, like, arms that are... Like he's wearing a hoodie and his sleeves are too big.
I'm paranoid. That may have been the door. I'll be back one second.
Okay. Well, combat shields finishes up for both parties. Third CC's on location, but HeroMarine was faster and with more SCVs faster as well. So his economy, as you can see on this graph, has been spiking quite a bit more than AqueroN's. Not really sure how I want to say AqueroN. I mean, I think that's the way I'm going to say it, but I also kind of want to say AqueroN. Or AqueroN, but he doesn't have an I in his name, so that doesn't work. This can be a good position to push and pull your Terran opponents. They gotta protect this third CC, but it's a lot of space to go over. You could be over here, the army could be over there, and you could be trying to drop in their main base as well. But I guess that's not gonna happen anymore because there's a lot of missile turrets, even a group of Marines to help out, so never mind. That's not something here Marine can pressure with. That's probably better, really. You know, it's usually the whole cost of 300 minerals, a tank, and a handful of Marines and a medevac is not worth keeping in the main. They're going to overpower you somewhere else, basically, or it's going to be in the wrong position anyways, kind of thing. But I think AqueroN's best bet in this game is to just play defensive until, like, you know, a more maxed out army, or even if they both are maxed out, then that's the ideal, but at least further along in the game he wants to take a fight. So if he's getting rid of the options of HeroMarine's, like, kill move, then probably better for him. He's also managed to get a lead in the upgrades. HeroMarine stalled out just for like maybe like a minute at this point, not starting his 3-2. That is a big drop. The one location he protected, the two locations he protected, one with the army, the other one with missile turrets, and neither of them were this location right here. So his starport goes down, his SCVs get killed.
Oh, the depots.
Yeah, all the
depots had a supply dropped on him. So this is like triple, quadruple killing.
Yeah, surprisingly not quite supply blocking AqueroN, as he just drops once and it seems to do the trick. But this is very annoying to deal with. He cannot go back to mining. That was definitely premature. Uh, 2-2 is almost done, but AqueroN is at a 20 army disadvantage. He just is being outpositioned right here.
Yeah, and the right side's going to get really scary and dicey, too. There's only really a couple tanks, so maybe while AqueroN's busy fighting over here, HeroMarine might move in on the right side, boost to the main in the meanwhile. Oh, if he can stop those upgrades. Nah, never mind, it's going to 2-2 finish.
There's still a bit of defense, but it's the rest of the army anyways. But this is exactly what you were talking about. The rest of HeroMarine's army comes forward to help out that tiny drop, and they're just going to push past the couple of tanks that were here. And
yeah, he can actually focus fire down that last one. He's not. He's trying to shoot down the command center. That's going to secure a kill at this rate, at least with the SCVs going down.
They barely get enough health on that command center to save it, but of course it costs him 18 more SCVs.
Yeah, he could maybe recover on 40, but the command center also goes down, so that's probably going to be it. Like, AqueroN's going to push back HeroMarine, but with no third CC, with no SCVs left to mine with either, he's just in the worst position possible. No recovery for our Green Terran.
Yeah. The one benefit he had was an upgrade lead that maybe he could have pushed and won, like, you know, done some damage with if he was down only 10, 15 army supply. But he's still down 20, even 30 at points. There you go. And his upgrades are about to be evened up and even surpassed as HeroMarine finishes up his 3-2. This turns into a planetary, so not a very weak point at all. And all HeroMarine has to do is pay attention to his center tower, basically. He's got the Zelnagas. He's got, like, units and supply depots everywhere else. He knows where AqueroN's going to fight him, and he's just going to take a head-on fight. And the concave was attempted by both players, but HeroMarine just has more units. GG! Didn't even need the upgrades.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Also, Riamar just Ned Starked me, so that's really not cool, dude. Can one of the mods ban Riamar, please?
Did you
Ban
make
in
a
chat, please and thank
peace
you.
treaty with him and then he's backstabbed you?
Yeah, by decapitating my head.
Mm.
So he backstabbed me so hard and then followed through up to the neck and swung it around.
That's harsh, man. That's harsh, Remo. But he's otherwise a very nice, you know, bit boss, so I'm okay with this.
I know, he gave everyone macros, 100 macros yesterday and refused to tax them. Because he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Hey.
Well, I was looking into it. We had a bunch of resubs today, which has been awesome, but 12 new subs, actually, which is great, because I think the last couple streams we've had like 3 to 5, so not sure what's inspired all the generosity, but whether you're paying with your hard-earned cash or using that free Twitch Prime token, we do appreciate it, guys, and I thank you so much. Still floating over 1,000. Man, I wish I knew what trick we could do, what event we could run, how we could get our sub count up. It's down to 1,053 now, but you guys are helping bring it back up, so much, much love. Make sure to hit the follow button too while you're here if you haven't. I know a lot of people who already subbed to the channel aren't even following it, because we've had this issues with some of our giveaways in the past, so please make sure you guys are following the channel.
Yeah.
It's always awkward when you pick a 13-month sub who is not following the channel as a winner for a giveaway.
Right? Well, guys, we're gonna get another take at the Catalina intro.
Fuck.
Yeah, you better believe I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna perfect this. It's gonna be great. As that is the next map chosen by AqueroN in this TvT, so just needed his go-ahead.
You know, one of the worst things about this, too, is Penguin was wearing that stupid shirt at DreamHack Atlanta. It came up to, like, he rushed
perfect.
me with a hug, and I hugged him, and then as he pulled away, I realized what he was wearing. Ugh.
It's perfect. All right, guys, you're the countdown. We're getting the game. See you soon. All right, it is Catalina, and it is game number 2. In the top position, he is the green Terran, AqueroN.
And his opponent to the south, going to be the blue Terran, HeroMarine. And actually, I think back on it, I think the last time we saw HeroMarine really going hard with his StarCraft 2 career was in the days of Catalina.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, HeroMarine, speaking of his past days, I suppose, he's always been a very solid TvT player. He's always been a very entertaining Terran streamer and, you know, still kind of technically one of the European Terrans, even if he wasn't going, you know, full pro gamer mode. But he was always very good at TvT, and so I was going to bring up. I don't know, I just remember him being very patient, you know, always focusing on his macro, and patience really winning out in a lot of TvTs. Legacy of the Void made everything more action-packed. Like, I was talking with someone recently about when it was first released and just how I felt like there was so many more things to do because it was such a sped-up game. But still, HeroMarine, to me, still has the quality of just being a patient macro player that can win out long-term if he's able to think about what's happening. And certainly that game ended up being, you know, quite a, 12 minutes, something like that, and it just was him calmly taking his advantages and running with them. Catalina puts you in a bit closer position to your opponents. AqueroN scouts first. This was a fairly popular map for proxies in TvT, you know, now I'm thinking about it, so. AqueroN making sure that's not going to be the case. Yet also going for a one-base build, which makes this a little weird, to be honest. You don't usually scout with an SCV when you do this. Oh, thank you to Zergasm1 for the Twitch Prime sub. You'll be looking forward to the next best of 3, I think, the ZVC.
If you're waiting on me to talk, I'm typing in. I'm not going to be helpful for a moment here.
Okay. Well, the 1-1-1 build from each player, as they both went for the double gas. The hell? That was the weirdest combination of sounds. As it pulled away, that sounded very weird. Well, it's just a Hellion that was driving up. and followed by the Reapers. They're both playing pretty defensive. There's a nice little trick you can sometimes pull off on Catalina, which is just to take the high ground of the natural. There's Reaper hop-up spot over here, don't be wrong, but if they're going to try more of a blitz move to the front, especially if they think you are expanding to a natural, then taking this high ground and instantly catching any units has done some very effective counter damage in return. You pounce on it, you counter, you get some damage done, and it's all quite worth it. Command Center goes down first for HeroMarine. And Cyclone and Medevac coming out for AqueroN now. There, he's getting prepped for Command Center. Raven is the choice first for HeroMarine. Talked about this when we first looked at Catalina in the last series, which is a lot of dead space, a lot of open space over this water that you can just leave an air unit around. Especially like in between these bases, go back and forth over here, like no problem. Anything like that can help, you know, Ravens, especially because they are just all about running in and darting right back out. Where a Banshee, I guess, is supposed to stay around a little bit longer. This medevac was used to elevate the army so that it all pieced together. But some decent micro. HeroMarine saves that one Cyclone. He uses an auto turret to help out. Looks like he's gotta save more, though. That other one goes down. This one's very, very weak. And that's still 2 Cyclones with a lot of health for AqueroN. Takes out that one. A Viking helps out a lot, but still really can't outpace the DPS of a Cyclone. And this is being quite complicated. Cyclone's just really low, didn't actually die. The Reactor's gonna go down, taken out by the Marines. Oh, nice save with the SCVs, very quick response. But this is doing so much damage. These Cyclones end up being true heroes here. They haven't really gotten a lot of SCV kills, and HeroMarine's trying to keep a calm head. Tank finally pops out, and that'll be the end of that. So Medevac's the only thing that survived, but still survives. But that lasted a long, long time. AqueroN with a later command center still managed to catch up with the SCVs. He has his production facilities think a little bit faster than HeroMarine, which might be the biggest difference here. Because it's not just production facilities, like, you know, literally producing Marines. It's also swapping onto a tech lab or just adding a tech lab, either one. That's a little bit faster. Faster combat shields, faster stim, all that jazz. So AqueroN does take a lead in a little bit more than just a numbers department. Goes for a single engineering bay. Catalina with a small map and kind of difficult thirds to take. And feel safe about it anyways. Yeah, I do not expect super fast thirds all the time on this one. Otherwise, I say it, HeroMarine goes for it. But HeroMarine is always, as I was talking about, been a macro-oriented guy, so you can definitely take a fast third. It just is, it feels very uneasy on a map like this.
Well, TvT, actually, a lot of it really, it's not a numbers game the same way it is in other matchups, right? Like, just having 20 extra Marines doesn't secure you a win if you start running into tank lines, so like, it's nice to get a third base quicker, obviously, but you're not going to necessarily win solely and entirely because of it. Catalina presents some really cool positioning. What I like, actually, is a key difference between the two. HeroMarine has remembered the burden of putting his buildings close to the edge of that cliff/base. AqueroN clearly hasn't. So if AqueroN gets attacked by that ledge, HeroMarine can siege up several buildings.
Yeah. Show that ledge in a second. Double Ravens come into the main, a drop in the natural, but HeroMarine had his units in position, so not too much done. Just 4 SCVs, giving AqueroN a 4 SCV lead. But yeah, the ledge over here has definitely been abused, and the farther back you put your structures, the easier it'll be to take care of, still allow yourself to get the concave on them. As it is, your own SimCity can be the one that's ruining your life, ruining your engagements.
You know, you lose a reactor on a barracks, or the barracks itself, it's not a big deal, but those siege tanks go behind the mineral lines, and that starport gets pushed out, and that's going to probably be the worst. Auto turret almost kills a Raven there. That would have been a really nice pick-off.
It would have. So I was talking about the production facilities. It has come true, and AqueroN even goes for 2 tech labs. I don't think this is very popular anymore, but it certainly can happen. I would say more often it's like when you think you're way behind on the stim and combat shields than when you're actually way ahead, but that's his choice. So he's going to have combat shields and stim very, very quickly, like much quicker. And HeroMarine with that faster third CC, all right, yeah, he's going to get the better economy in about a minute here, especially if he can actually manage to land that thing, but he's going to have a hell of a time defending it. He's going to need very good map presence and, you know, really good positioning of his units, which he does excel at. He hasn't got the map presence yet, but he has been able to deflect all these attacks without too much of a snowball effect.
Still, it's really cool seeing the new skins in the production tab. Unlike Zerg, at least they don't look really weird. They just look cooler.
Yeah, I agree.
Was it you said the Zerglings look like infested Terrans or something? I
Yes.
can't unsee it now.
Yeah, they really do. Oh, it's just an SUV. Just kidding. That is a large army for AqueroN moving forward. It has an upgrades, it has stim and combat shields, and it has 20 more supply.
Right, the combat shields is what scares me the most. HeroMarine stim might finish before this fight, but this is going to be a bit rough. Auto turrets and a lot of Vikings, though, might be able to pick off the medevacs before they landed. If that's going to be the case, that'd be great, but dodges thanks to that scan.
Yeah. It's funny, because AqueroN scanned HeroMarine's natural, so of course HeroMarine, is like, okay, that's probably going to push me, and then realized that maybe that wasn't going to be the case. So he has successfully defended 2 bases. Now, I was talking about that 3rd base, it's only going to be a boost for him if he's able to put it on the ground, and it's going to be a difficult thing to do with his disadvantages in this game. This is going to be an interesting decision. There's a lot of Marines. They weren't that far away. I think AqueroN made a mistake.
Oh my god. He had such a big lead through upgrades that this isn't something he should have given away to throw, but looks like that's exactly what he's done. He's also run into the tank, not even shooting the one on the high ground, and he gives away everything.
Yeah.
This was an absolutely horrible engagement. GG.
Oh boy.
Good luck in the finals. Well, AqueroN still qualifies for a couple of bucks in 4th place, but congratulations to HeroMarine, who's going to move on to the finals.
Yeah, he still had a really good run. Still very impressed with that, but TvT is a different beast, and HeroMarine, I think, just is really good at it. That was that was just a decision I feel like I've had so many times in my own TvTs where it's like, this is going to be great. Nope, just kidding, it's not going to be great, and you're already committed to it, so it's definitely an all-in at that point. The next series determines the other player to the finals. Is going to be Nurchio versus Namshar, so ZVZ, obviously guaranteed TVZ. Once again, start off on Ascension to Ire, so we'll be back in 2 minutes for that.